Does corn have a negative effect on society? No fap versus corn stars debate. I feel like anybody who's rational will say yes, and anybody who says no, like, what are you talking about? Her family can
porn once a month, I'm going to be happier. Probably.
There's research on people's brains,
yeah. Your brain will start working in a more optimal mode, and you'll be like, I didn't even know I could be this.
What's more optimal now than somebody who has 2 degrees successful for themselves can pay off everything that they want?
Welcome to Middle Ground. I'm Ryan, your host. To the left, we have Team NoFap, and to the right, porn stars. This should be interesting. Porn has a net negative effect on society. Agreeers, please step forward.
Okay, it's really interesting. So
wait,
I was
what was the
thinking
first
about
question?
it,
Porn has a net negative? Yeah, definitely.
It seems like for some of them, I don't want to, put words in their mouth, but it sounds like they're after it for just like a chunk of the change, right? And so like, what does that mean, like on the healthy side of like the other end, like the consumer, right? And I don't think it will, serve people as a whole in a positivity light, rather than they're just serving
Wait, I missed
themselves.
it. How do
Like,
we know which ones are the corn stars or not? I missed. Oh, I didn't. Let me look at the lineup. Oh, okay. Interesting lineups. These are the corn stars over here. We got this guy. I wonder what his demographic that he targets is. We got her, some normal guys and girls. Oh, there's a girl in there too. No fap. Interesting.
Has a net negative effect on society. Agreeers, please step forward.
Okay, it's really interesting. So I was thinking about it, and it seems like for some of them, I don't want to, put words in their mouth, but it sounds like they're after it for just like a chunk of the change, right? And so like, what does that mean, like on the healthy side of like the other end, like the consumer, right? And I don't think it will, serve people as a whole in a positivity light, rather than they're just serving themselves. Like, I don't know if that, makes sense, but I guess like my basis is like, it doesn't help serve the world in a positive way. It just serves themselves in a positive way.
Well, are you saying that porn performers do the world a disservice?
I would say so.
Got it.
I'd say it's like overall, like if it was a ratio of positive to negative, I would say it's 10% positive. I feel like the rest of it is like the 90% is negative.
I was going to say, yeah, I would agree with what he's saying about it being a net negative on society. We have higher rates of depression and anxiety in younger men, a lot of which can be associated to compulsive sexual behavior.
Thank you for the follow, Icarus.
Meaning in their lives. We create a culture.
I haven't defeated lust,
where
once
sex
you
is a
start
transactional
over
thing.
it's not placebo. On God, it's not placebo.
Biological imperative
it's not
to
placebo.
have sex with somebody who you are connected to.
Bro, when you're watching corn every day, your mindset gets to the point where you're actively looking at women or like, in the opposite, if you're gay or if you're a girl that likes guys, you're looking at people as objects, bro, or not even objects, like you're craving them like there's some sort of like food or something, like, and thinking of them in like you're like, it's just not a good mindset to have, bro. And you can't even, it gets to the point where you can't even control it.
In a relationship,
that's called just not having
sense.
respect for
so
females.
Sex becomes
Not gonna
a
lie,
transaction between two people, and I think just
you think that cycle will restart if you get a
terms,
girlfriend?
If
No.
there's more sex available, then sex is less valuable. So.
Got it.
I am a cognitive neuroscientist, and I have written a best-selling book called Mind Over Explicit Matter on porn addiction recovery. I call it the silent tsunami, because basically that brain dysregulation that happens in a person's brain, which is below the surface, that's how a tsunami starts. There's a crack in the ocean floor. Nobody knows it's happening. But then it creates mental and physical health issues, which there's a significant rise in anxiety and depression. There's also what I call porn-induced ADHD.
They got a whole scientist on their team. The corn stars have no chance. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think about that.
Of the brain
unless they got someone on their team that has
function
studies too.
Also, so people can't focus, their productivity decreases. Physically, it leads to erectile
I swear some people aren't real.
which is destroying people's relationships.
Can you say a little bit more about physical change to the brain?
Yeah, so there's a study that shows that there is basically the reward centers are smaller, where you would think they'd be larger, but it's because of that desensitization in the reward center, and then that's in the midbrain. The reward pathways feed forward to the frontal lobe. Those pathways are impacted too.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Is anybody actually listening to what she's talking about? I'm not glad she dropped. Like, there's such thing as an information overload. I'm not gonna lie. She's dropping too much knowledge on me. Like, I didn't process a single word. I'm not gonna lie.
People can't think.
Information.
Shall we bring the disagreeers?
Let's do it.
Please join us.
Let's hear the corn stars, bro.
It's not our fault that y'all can't push the computer away.
Okay.
Like we
Santana Triple XL is his
We're
name.
not forcing anyone to watch porn. That's a decision that you make on your own. We don't force anybody to watch.
Do you think it's a net positive or a net negative?
I mean,
Most
I
of
think it's a
y'all
positive
folding.
thing.
Who
What's
is most
positive
of y'all?
about it that you
You're not
believe
talking about
brings
me.
the service to the
Because you have the option of being able to watch it or not watch it. You know, you have that option yourself to do that. It makes you feel good. Like, it makes you release. It makes you feel all kinds of things, arousement in sexuality. It helps you be more confident about your body. For me, porn has been very positive to me, especially being a plus-size boy in the gay porn industry. You know,
I feel like, but it's also, to be fair, it's also, you're going to answer to this question very differently, being someone that works in the industry and being someone that consumes it and doesn't work in the industry. So, like, these are, I feel like they should have had, like, a third side, if that makes sense.
Deal with people always coming at me in the industry because of my size. And in gay porn, you know, it's not really acceptable to be a plus-size boy.
They should have had a gooner team.
So for me, porn has helped me be more confident in my body and stuff like that. And I know people who watch my porn who are like me come to me all the time and say, watching your porn has made me more confident.
It taught me sexual experiences. I had, you know, going into 5th grade, you know, they taught you sex. A boy and a girl has sex, but I didn't know what that looked like. You know,
you were saying something else.
Sure, it could be bad. It could teach you crazy things or whatever, you know. But for me personally, it taught me a lot of things. Like, I'm not gonna go ask my mom, how do you give a blowjob?
Thank you for the follow,
or like
Gooner
my friends
123
at a young
and me.
age when I have a boyfriend. Like, that's something that like it's
Thank you
honestly
for
a
the
research
follow. That
point in
guy's
some
really hot.
aspects for some people.
Honestly, I would characterize that as a net negative because that is, you know, science now shows that that's how porn is how most kids are learning about sex.
That is scary.
And
Wait, I didn't even think, yo, I need to really listen. She just said that she said that the way that they teach sex in school is ineffective for her, and the more effective way going into 5th grade was watching porn. Yo, does she hear herself?
Hypersexualized, and we know there's an increase in violence.
Like, that's fake.
And so now we have young people, you know, punching, choking, anal sex is up, and we have young people now
But I
learning
don't
that
see
this is
anal
healthy.
sex as violent.
Well, it can be, but you know, the violent piece of porn isn't just anal sex, but it covers kind of this, again, continuum overarching. But now with kids having their phones in their pocket, you know, they don't have the opportunity to learn from healthier ways. I think that is the unique perspective that I've had because I wasn't addicted to porn, yet I was very close to someone that was. So having an outside view plus having the education to understand it, you know, I work with a lot of people. They don't have the awareness until they do, but usually that's because they have significant mental and physical health issues.
I don't believe that like everyone who watches a porn video from their first time watching it is going to now have a problem. I think that there are plenty of people who can make that distinction.
Most people do if they continue to watch porn. So, you know, I call it the seeds of addiction, but of course seeds have to be
exactly.
watered.
That's another thing that you have to make a distinction about. Obviously, I personally believe you shouldn't watch it at all, but there's a difference between being addicted to it and just consuming it like every now and then, you know? Like, obviously your mindset is going to be affected differently, but like if you're someone who has having no contact, especially sexual contact with people, and you're just every day in your room gooning multiple times a day, bro. I know people who have gooned crazy amounts of times in a single day, bro. Like, that's gonna obviously rot your brain, bro. What's up, normal person? Thank you for the follow.
Grow. But for people who develop a habit, and
my max is like 6. Yo, I didn't ask for your PR, bro. That's crazy.
Still leads to compulsive behavior.
I think mine was like maybe 5.
So who's not addicted to porn?
Thank you for the follow, Trayvon.
People who don't watch it.
That's it. Like, you can't healthily take
you know,
this
so
in
when
at
it comes to brains, it's the same with alcohol. Most people who consume alcohol regularly do have a dependency on it.
But there's no possible have a beer, put it, and then that was...
For some people, but there's tolerance building, escalation over time. And that goes back to your point, Logan, that people don't know until they know. But most people are not aware until basically...
Yo, isn't there a guy who died from doing it? Yo, there was a guy who did it like every day in a row for like 21 days and he died. He had like a stroke or a heart attack or something. That's crazy.
There's the straw that breaks the camel's
I should have
back.
stopped doing it when I seen that. I'm not gonna lie.
Most people have an
That should have
addiction
been the bullet.
to it. I think that what is being considered an addiction on this side of the the spectrum is not
Thank you for the
considered
follow,
addiction
Zan.
on this side. Just
There's
because we watch,
definition to addiction.
yeah, just because we watch something
What's
maybe
your max
once
in
a
one day?
month
I just
or
said it's
whatever
5, bro.
doesn't necessarily.
Nothing
To me,
crazy?
I'm more addicted to my phone, to food, to everything else besides that. Like that's the least addictive thing.
Well, there's
in my life.
qualifiers to the definition of addiction, and then I tell people just try to stop watching. You don't even have to like.
Yes, it was. Yo, 5 is not crazy, and yes, it was during COVID, and yes, yes, bro.
Tick the 6 boxes because most people who consume porn, you know, they might be able to go a little while, but they will have withdrawal symptoms. They'll have an increase in anxiety, anger, irritability, you know, up and down. It's about like there's dopamine in the system, then there's a dopamine deficit. So
if I don't watch porn once a month, I'm going to be happier.
yeah, probably.
I totally agree with that statement.
That's the thing. You don't know until you see the other side.
People say that to me all
I've
the
been
time.
on every
mean,
side of things. I
They
had a
don't
purity
believe it
ring
until
growing
they
up. I've been
experience
on.
it. Because your brain will start working in a more optimal mode, and you'll be like, I didn't even know I could
What's
be
more
this more.
optimal now than
If you
somebody
only
who
watch
has
it
2
once
degrees
a month-
successful for themselves?
To be
to pay
honest,
off
you know, I actually have insight on this. But I have insight on this. Okay, boom. There was a point, like especially during quarantine, I was gooning multiple times every day, watching porn every day. It was bad. That's addiction. But like a couple months ago, I was gooning maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And I'm not gonna lie, during that time though, I was still consumed by lust. So yes, it is still bad for you, even if you do it way less. Yes, I was still hurt about lust, but like
that they
you know,
want. How is that not an excel?
Well, it's about, you know, back to your
do you mean that's
focus.
just you?
And, you know, I don't know what you have going
Yeah.
on.
That could be
but
anyone.
It's about that brain map. If it's green, the way it's about your state, and so your state changes. So when people work with me, they'll say,
I stopped gooning for 6 months and I was still looking at mad ass, and that's why you went back to gooning, bro. There you go. You can't just stop gooning and keep looking at that kind of stuff and expect to not go back to it.
could be calmer. I didn't know I could be more focused. I didn't know I could have less anxiety. I don't feel depressed. My sexual arousal for my partner is through the roof in a way that it never was before. So
No, and I see, like, I think but I think it isn't a one-size-fits-all type of thing. I think that there are plenty of people, like, it's going to vary.
I'd be gooning every month. You got to get it out at least once in a while. That's just not true, though. Because then if that's true, then why have I been able to go 4 months without doing it when I was doing it every day for years?
The person. I think that there are a lot
And
of
I'm
people,
happier than
'cause
I
even
ever
if we
was.
take away pornography, if we look at something like something like the keto diet, like there's plenty of people who will be, okay, like you can find a lot of evidence backing, okay, you'll lose weight on this, you'll sleep better, this, and that. And then there's other
I did
people who are
not
like,
run
it
out of
didn't work
things
for
to
me,
do.
I had
There's always
headaches, I had
something
this,
else.
and
There's
both can be
next,
true.
always the next level.
So can that? Is
I
that
don't have
not
dysfunction.
The same
Alright,
thing.
bro.
Why is there no possible way to have a healthy relationship with pornography, with masturbation?
it goes back to the dopamine dependency of the super normal stimulus.
But there's so much that gives you dopamine. Like people get that from work. They get an unhealthy relationship with
They
as
get,
far as
well,
like
dopamine
getting
from
more
a
There,
hug.
you can
He was
be
doing that
addicted
multiple
to
times a
work,
day,
but
Toro.
the dopamine from work is significantly lower. It's not a super normal stimulus. It's a normal stimulus. So like in real life, probably the highest normal
How
stimulus
about we
is
make
like
a drug supplement for sex dopamine? Instead of gooning, I am really the thinker OMG.
Sex dopamine, there's no specific sex dopamine. It's the same dopamine.
skydiving. You know, it's like your system is completely jacked
Bro
up.
thought he
You're
had something.
overstimulated. That is probably in real life the highest level stimulus you could get.
But how can we get these people that are really compulsive and have addictions? How can we get these people help?
Dharma.
My answer would obviously be
They were to
organized
follow
religion,
Mormonta.
specifically Catholicism. Now, that's obviously just me, but I think it's clear that we've departed from a unifying ethic that brings everybody
Oh,
together.
also, I'm not necessarily against masturbation or gooning. I'm against porn itself and like the danger, like looking at that kind of content and getting it into your brain. Like it's different to just like if you goon to your thoughts or something, you know? Like that's different.
And then there's
It's
people
more
on the
so about
fringes that
the
basically
content
just
that you're
think
consuming.
Well, pleasure is the best thing
Thank you to
possible,
follow, Mom.
or power is
Steven.
the best thing possible, and we've lost the thing that puts everybody at the center, that brings everybody together.
Are you saying everyone should be religious?
In utopia, sure, yeah.
Okay, so that's your utopia. Mine is not.
Yeah.
I was gooning to your thoughts or words.
To build on that,
Nightmare
I
for
would
me.
believe that everyone should have like some sort of core values to not serve other humans,
No, I
but
haven't
just
been
to bring
doing that.
positivity to the world. And that's why I stepped forward, because I didn't believe that being a porn star. And
How long
I
am I
wanted to
off?
be one at one point. Like I
4.5 months.
like got that deep in the game, and I was like, wow, like
You still can.
I'm all good, man. I appreciate it.
They want you to be Catholic. He wants you to be a porn star.
We found the middle ground.
Right.
Something I don't like is when a religious person tries to like tell me what I need to do with my life. That's my problem.
I agree. I think people push other people away from the church or just like whatever religion, right? I feel like that's just a relationship that you need to have. But one of the greatest things that you can do is pray or just manifest, right? So that's such a great thing. It's one of God's gifts to us, right? And so can one of you tell me like 3 core values you have for being a porn star?
What do you mean, do I like the brown guy?
Core
Why are you
values,
asking only about
I want to
him?
make money. I want to feel good about what I'm doing, and I want to make other people feel good as well. That's just off the top of my head.
Making people feel good in like a pleasurable sense of, masturbation?
Yeah, sure. If that's one of the ways, then sure, why not?
I don't, I can't necessarily think of.
What do you mean if that's one of the ways? How else is your corn making people feel good? You think they just watching it happy like it's a TV show episode?
Like a lot of ways that are probably going to be a good argument as far as why it's necessarily a positive thing. But I just don't view it as something that's negative in the right person's hand, I guess.
She had
Porn
2
itself
degrees? I
as a
missed
form
that.
of entertainment. I think the fact that it is just something that is out there that if you choose to watch it, you can because you have the freedom to, is a positive thing.
I just had a question for you. You said earlier that you can't necessarily think of any reasons right now as to why porn would be beneficial to society.
Yeah, but I also, yes, but...
Does that concern you at all?
No, because I don't think it needs to be. I don't necessarily think video games, I can't think of a lot of ways that video games are positive other than it just being fun, mindless entertainment.
Right.
I think there's a place in a functioning society for mindless entertainment to just be okay in moderation. And I don't think it's selfish either to want pure entertainment sometimes.
All right, this has been really interesting, and I think we have more topics to get to. So why don't we get to the next topic?
Sounds good.
Masturbation has many health benefits. Agree?
Okay, what do y'all think, chat? I mean, no. I feel like just objectively no, because that's just objectively not true. You don't gain anything from doing it. Now, if you want to say mentally, if it helps you, like Censor had said, it helps him to at least get it out once a month or something. I mean, sure, bro. Oh wait. Okay, I have one benefit. Okay, since I'm an ex-gooner, I will be using my personal experiences to give you guys some context. Yes, I have chronic migraines, and sometimes, even though I didn't have any drive, like sex drive, I would goon to help with my headaches, and it would get rid of the headaches sometimes. I swear to God. That's probably the only actual health benefit I've ever gotten, though.
Please step forward. Well, you know what? Since you were hesitant, I want to start with you.
I just want to say
that's not placebo, bro.
Okay, I don't even think about like porn or masturbation anymore. But sometimes when you do get that idea, you know what I mean, and you ain't got no person to talk to, all of a sudden you start going crazy, like what the fuck? Oh shit, I'm horny. You know what I mean? Like the blue balls be kicking in. You know what I mean? Right? But the thing with me is, I refuse.
I was not looking for an excuse. Why would I need an excuse if I do it anyway?
So it get to the point like sometimes I go crazy, like so I gotta go meet somebody. Like oh shit, you know what I mean, right? So, but when I let that out, all of a sudden I come back to my normal sense. So I will say it helps that I ain't got to deal with the pain of pelvic cramps and blue balls. I'll give you that much. And if I remember right, ain't you supposed to nut to avoid like prostate cancer or something?
That's not true.
Now
we're just saying stuff. And I don't know why he's asking them.
Oh my wow. I mean, I feel like
yo, they all agree that it's beneficial to health. Oh, I'd love to hear the justifications. They're about to say some bullshit.
There's nothing wrong with masturbation. I feel like masturbation is very healthy, mentally and everything. It's nothing wrong with busting 10 nuts a day and doing all the other things and stuff like that. It's good for your health and mentally.
Clearly there is if a nigga died from doing it, bro. Yo, clearly there is. What you mean?
And it relaxes your body. So I feel like masturbation is nothing wrong with that. I mean, even chronic masturbators. So yeah.
Quick question. I want to overtime. Can you bust 10 nuts in a day?
I could bust multiple.
Hell yeah,
but
he's a porn star.
Well, I know y'all got super.
We can all bust 10 nuts in a day.
Man, I got like 3 tops and I'm out of it, man. Go ahead, though, man. 10 is crazy, but go ahead.
You could say, the opposing side could say that maybe it's desensitizing you to real life sex, but for me personally, it's only given me more ideas and been an inspiration for, crazier times. So I think as long as you're doing it in, a healthy amount, whatever that is to you, should be okay.
I mean, as long as you could go to work That's the only thing that matters. As long as you can go to work.
What if it is your work?
Yeah,
But it's two birds, one stone.
Yeah, I would say like the average person, like the non-compulsive masturbator. For one, I don't think it's anyone's business what you do, and then two, I also think like if you don't have a problem with it or you don't feel like you have a problem with it, it's not affecting your day-to-day life. I think it's completely natural. I think humans have been doing it forever.
I've always had a really healthy relationship to masturbation. So obviously I'm doing it more now, but like before I was a porn star, I would maybe do it like not even once a week.
Yeah, she just said, well, she wasn't even talking about masturbation. The topic is masturbation. She talked about corn. So
when I'd feel that like, I guess, urge or the horniness, I'd just go do it. And then if it's in the morning, I feel more energized somehow. And then if it's at night before I go to bed, I'm just like out like a light. I don't have to like take melatonin. And then another part of it for me has been kind of spiritual. Because if you know about like the chakras, the sacral chakra is all about your sexuality and your creativity and your emotions. So using that kind of as like a manifestation technique. I was going to say masturbation. But I've learned that like a woman harnessing her sexual energy and like
let me find out Madara and them
really
was doing it to get their power
and it just
up,
makes
bro.
me feel like so creative and I have so many ideas and I feel so sexy.
But as porn stars, we want y'all to bust y'all nuts and stuff because that's how we get paid.
Fascinating. Let's bring in the...
Yo, that wasn't the question.
I mean, that's not...
Yo, I'm just not reading all that. I'm not gonna lie.
I learned so much from
Tell me you're not a porn star.
Man, highlight of my day. All right, disagreeers. Thoughts?
What do you believe that you manifest when you masturbate? Like, what do you think? Do you think nothing or like?
I think
it's
my life. You can manifest money. You can manifest experience.
How many of you right after you goon, you feel like shit? Also, another point. It gets to the point too where you just, if you're doing it, especially if you're doing it every day, and that's how you know you're really addicted, bro. When you start to feel like shit right after, bro. What's that called? Post nut clarity, bro. It's real, bro. It's dead real. And then sometimes it'd be like, yo, what am I watching? It's like, yo, it'd be instant too. It'd be like, yo, what am I watching? Like, it's bad, bro.
Just that, like, the creative energy within your sacral chakra. And if you don't know anything about spirituality, you're probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy. And it's completely separate, not completely separate from science. Like, there are parts of manifestation that have to do with like scientific basis.
Yeah, well, I love the idea of chakras, and chakras are actually energy centers in your body that are aligned with where there's more nerve energy. But when you overstimulate a chakra, then they're no longer in a place where, then it feels empowering to you, but it might not necessarily be balanced.
Okay, but from my perspective, I'm not like doing it it's like when I feel like that like energy starting to circulate in my body, like I'm gonna do something with it. I'm not like every day being like, I need to like hypersexualize myself. I need to do this. Like, I just feel like I have a very balanced relationship with my job and then like my own personal masturbation. So it's like hasn't like unbalanced my life. Like,
do you feel like your job has taken away from sexuality with another person?
No, I've dated
conversation led to this video?
Not plenty of men. Like, while I've been a porn star, but the times that I have,
where the predator
like, I've really
ended up being into bestiality.
enjoyed the experiences with them.
Actually, I found that through shooting porn, it's enhanced my personal relationship with a significant other. But I come home to my person, and so that's my person. So when you have sex with them, it's emotional, it's sensual, you love them. But when you're having sex on set, it's a job, you're acting, you're, whatever. So personally for me, it's made the two separate, but I do know men who have a hard time in their sex life.
If I did that as my job every day, intercourse with just random new people every day, I don't think I could ever look at sex the same. I just don't think I could.
Porn, but because they're using their dick so much.
Yeah. And I love that distinction because what you're talking about is the artificiality of, your job, at performance.
Yeah.
And then you being able to experience that sexual sensual experience with a partner. From my perspective, it's about the consumer that might not have that distinction, because when the dopamine's all linked to
like no way you don't get bored or like tired of it, bro.
Have that kind of that dichotomy that you're able to have.
I do think that there is a link
friends with
between
the
the
OF
morality
girl?
and the
I
health.
used to,
so,
bro.
I mean, I just don't.
But I'm not friends with them no
I think
more.
it's too simplistic to say that masturbation or masturbation
They turned out to be
specifically.
evil.
Sure, you get oxytocin, you get dopamine, you get serotonin. Okay, there's a ton of stuff that gives you those three chemicals, perhaps in higher doses, that are terrible for you. Things that anyone with sense would say we probably shouldn't be doing that. So I think that just having one facet of, all right, this is healthy because we get feel-good chemicals.
But I'm curious, as far because the prompt being what it was just objectively, masturbation is healthy. That was the prompt. So what? Not like taking porn out of it. What makes masturbation unhealthy in your opinion?
Yeah, Logan, I love what you said. Actually, is that masturbation in and of itself. I don't know that it has health benefits, and that prostate cancer thing is the world's oldest excuse for people who have compulsive masturbation.
But is it true?
It don't.
Yo, Icarus, didn't you say you was gonna leave Tagoon 5 minutes ago? Why are you still here? Are you doing it to my stream?
No, actually, I've looked into the research, and people who compulsively masturbate have less healthy prostates as they age. So the big distinction is compulsive or not compulsive. But when pornography is in the mix, masturbation becomes compulsive because it's linked to all that dopamine again.
Like, this is the way I see it, right? So you have a spiritual cup, you have a mental cup, and you have a physical cup. And I feel like it drained, or me masturbating would drain one of those. I couldn't distinct which one it would be, but I just realized like it would spill out the water in each of those cups into different areas of my life, and that would lead to negative things. So I guess like that analogy. I would have for you is like, do you think that your industry serves people in a healthy way? Someone like you.
Yeah, I mean, no, and I feel
Yo, stop
that,
telling me
and
things
I
y'all
think
beat to in my
it's
chat,
a
bro.
person-to-person basis. I don't think my industry necessarily serves in any specific way. I don't think it's necessarily. It's a video. At the end of like we made a video, and then how you consume that product is however you got to deal with that.
And that's where the compulsive masturbation piece comes in, right? It does desensitize the brain, the dopamine receptors, and going back to that connection piece, it connects a person to themselves, right? Like to a screen in their hand.
Porn is inherently anti-feminist.
I mean, clearly not. I mean, there's two women right here defending it. Like, what? I feel like that's just a bad question. Thank you for the follow, Rocky.
Agreeers, please step forward.
Yes, it is. You think so? I don't think so.
Well, so
women are the number one advocates I
see
for it.
That feminism is for equal rights for men and women. I think that it sort of has to be anti-feminist in a way, because if we're talking about feminism in the context of women as fully fledged.
Oh, well, the question is inherently. What's the literal definition of a feminism again? Hold on, it might inherently be the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of sexes. Okay, no, then it's not. No.
That have inherent value. I think it does the exact opposite of that. I think that it diminishes. I mean,
a lot of women porn stars get screwed over and underpaid, but they're also the most paid in their industry. So what kind of argument is that? I'm sure men do too.
Part in the pornography is diminished to nothing more than a sexual object, then essentially a warm body to masturbate with. Wow, the great success of feminism is that now I can sell my body to the highest bidder online.
Let's bring everybody else in. We can have a discussion about this, and I look forward to hearing what y'all.
Yeah, like even the non-corn stars didn't agree with that, or the corn stars.
Of as feminist in this context.
A funny low-income streamer. Been a while since I saw one. I've never been described that way, but you called me funny, so thank you, I think.
Oh, go for it. You don't have to wait to be called on.
So, as a woman, speaking about feminism, we're bringing up the definition of feminism and saying it was having equal rights. If anything,
independent work is different from industry work, though. So yeah, independent work is pro-feminism, but industry work isn't. I never said independent work. Women in the industry get paid more than men too, on average. Like, are there I'm sure the highest. Matter of fact, let me look it up right now. I got you, bro. The highest earning is Jenna Jameson from the 1990s. Her estimated earnings was $30 million at her peak. Now OF models are making that by themselves without the industry. That's crazy.
Women have more
That's
rights
crazy.
than men in the porn industry, especially on like large sets. I get a person to follow me around all day, make sure I'm comfortable. I also, you know, everything's always about the woman. I get paid twice as much as the
42
man
mil
on
last
the
year.
set.
That is insane.
Yeah, so that's my personal opinion on it.
That
I
is
think
so
if anything,
crazy.
it lifts women up and gives them a platform to have confidence and.
Yeah, women dominate that whole entire industry. They make
Yo, even they know.
millions.
I mean, I feel like that's,
guys
I don't know why I'm
the
saying,
gay
like, everybody
performers,
knows that.
they
I
make
feel like
money
that's a
too.
grass is green
So,
take.
but women dominate the whole entire porn industry and make a killing.
You're assuming that me doing porn is only
There's probably mad
like
people
having
in
society view me as a sexual
like
object.
you're not a real person.
When in reality, I
don't care how
have
much
a
money
whole
you have.
Like life outside of porn. Like yes, it's a big.
Not gonna
part
lie, I
of
was
my
planning
life,
on quitting today. This
but I
live might be a
also, like, I
sign.
make
Quit,
YouTube
bro.
videos.
It is a sign.
I paint. I read. I do all of these different things. I go to the beach. I'm a whole person, but just like the general concept of like just seeing women as sexual objects just because they're on camera having sex, I think that's like a big issue.
You obviously are a full, complete person outside of what you do in front of the camera for pornography. I obviously would agree with that across the board. So you're just a means to an end for these men who are desperate.
Why did okay, see, I'm supposed to ignore the TikTok chat to incentivize people to come to the Twitch chat to talk to me. But why did I just see a nigga in my TikTok chat say I look like the guy with the shades in this video? Nigga, are you talking about Saucy Triple XL? What do we have in common besides him being black? No, tell me one thing. Yo, you're not funny, bro. Don't piss me off.
But just issue.
You obviously are a full, complete person outside of what you do in front of the camera for pornography. I obviously would agree with that across the board. So you're just a means to an end for these men who are desperate at home and want to get off. And they think that you're not a real, full human being. They just think that you're a body that's doing something attractive. And
not with OnlyFans these
You're
days.
assuming that everyone's having the
only
same
bots
experience
buy
when
that.
they're masturbating to porn. So for me, like, not only with like the Pornhub and all the studios that I've shot for, all these men that are coming to me, I feel like I do pretty well with attracting people that are just so loving. They make me feel so seen and celebrated as a person. I just had my 3-year porniversary yesterday.
They got a term for that?
So I made a post about that, obviously, and all these comments of like, I love you, like I've loved getting to know you.
I wonder how many D pics are sent alongside with these nice messages that she's receiving. Like, yo, let's be for real, bro. I personally know girls that have worked in OF and 90% of their DMs are just guys asking to get their Ds rated or just sending unsolicited D pics, bro.
And it's just been such an eye-opening experience seeing like all these men who you might have that assumption that they just masturbate to porn because they're just trying to like come. But a lot of men I've come in contact with, they're like widowed, they don't have a wife anymore.
This is a huge
like it's just a lot of different scenarios.
Yo, that doesn't make it any
I
better.
just don't like making that big assumption about men.
Oh my gosh, I wish I was here, bro.
The interesting thing, I think, from
yo, this lady is
my
too nice. This
perspective
lady's
is
way too nice. Thank you to
informed
follow
by
Black
not
Sir.
only neuroscience, but I
Like, this is
work with
actual
thousands
denial,
of
I'm
men
not gonna
who
lie.
have recovered or are in the process of recovering from porn, is that intimacy that they feel towards you isn't true intimacy. So, like when a widower reaches out to you and now is building a false
I did not see
intimacy or
Elon's name was on
distorted
the Epstein list.
intimacy,
Is that
then
true?
you know, like
Never to follow
Asher
Harmony.
was saying, then he's not going back into the world to meet a real human being that he could make the connection
No,
with.
I don't want you to goon
And
to
what
me.
I
Like,
think
what are
about,
you
like in
asking?
terms of
Yo, I need-
the
yo, mods.
porn industry and feminism, it's more like the authenticity and healthy purpose, and really going out there and doing the thing that is in your heart that you want to add to the world.
Is it possible, just a follow-up question, is it possible for that there to be a bridge where it is okay? Where, like, say with the widower example, where...
What if my daughter did corn? The way my daughter would be raised, that would never even be a thought in her mind. But, if she did start trying to do it, I would try to, the same way I'm telling y'all, I would try to tell her, the negative implications that it could have on, other people's lives and especially her life and her future, bro.
Is it
I can't
always
force anybody
bad?
to do anything.
I think so, based on the science too, because science shows that basically then those neural pathways are being fired up towards the high level of dopamine from pornography, which makes it almost impossible for most people, and this is the compulsive addictive nature, for those pleasure pathways to be linked to real world experiences. That's what all the neuroscience shows, is that
now, what if she dropped 2 Lambos at your
being
crib?
Traversed back towards porn.
Yo, bro, that makes
Very
no
difficult
difference.
To, then build pleasure.
Thank you for the
in
bit,
real
Ricky.
life.
She get into the science of it all.
What's the link to this vid? It's called "Does Corn Have a Negative Effect on Society?" Jubilee. No Fap versus Corn Stars.
But going back to like the anti-feminist
I'm
thing,
seeing mad people asking me to
you,
ban Icarus.
you are
Y'all
right
want me
in
to
the
ban
fact that
him?
like
Why?
obviously there are plenty. There's guys online are very mean to a lot of the girls in the industry, but I don't think that how people perceive you doing a thing makes that thing anti-feminist, because like they said, obviously a lot of guys like really support them and like feel like they know them on a personal level, but then yeah, there's people who like, and especially if a lot of these girls, if they go and do something after porn, there's plenty of people who are just gonna be like, oh, she's always just gonna be a porn star. So like, but I don't think that makes it inherently anti-feminist. I think that's more of just an issue on these guys and just how they're viewing women.
No, I definitely believe that it can empower women. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like you have fans that appreciate you and what you do. But that's like
isn't literally what he just said about how people saying that they're always gonna see you as a corn star even after they quit doing corn or whatever. Like, and I'm not defending people saying this, but isn't that literally like, that's the people that you're providing your content for, bro? Like, those are the same people that are consuming your media. Like, that's the problem, bro. That's why it's a bad thing.
But I don't think that makes it inherently anti-feminist. I think that's more of just an issue on these guys.
Exactly.
How they're viewing women.
No, I definitely believe that it can empower women. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like you have fans that appreciate you and what you do. But that's like a whole different side. What he was mentioning is
I remember people was trying to crucify. Yo, Mia Khalifa, I haven't kept up with her or anything, but I'm pretty sure, didn't she like quit and then she was like being really openly like, getting more in touch with her religion in Islam and stuff, and then people were like hating on her crazy, like what do y'all want? Like, yo, you generally can't win. That like there's so much negativity in that entire sphere, bro. Like that's why I'd say it's just there's nothing good that's gonna come out of it, you tapping into it. Sure, you'll get some temporary money and like things, but like like your happiness might be a sacrifice, bro. She did do a scene with hijab on
as a result of watching
unfortunately
porn. So it's just like, how do we direct like which way to go? Because like for me, I viewed women as an object for a little bit of my life, because that's what my idea was from watching porn, and that's pretty much all I knew. I didn't have like a natural relationship. It was all artificial. So I guess what I'm asking is how can we?
You all did too. I don't know why you're talking. You literally
way,
all did too.
And and link it back to like men appreciating women. Like,
but what if women don't mind being appreciated for their sexual side? That's something I don't mind. Well, for those men that come in and view me as an object, I view them as a paycheck.
That's
a
bar.
I don't mind.
Carry it.
The people who come in and do value me, I also value them too, and I also ask them about how their life is going on, and a lot. To be honest, to bring up something, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a chance to bring it up. I have a lot of like functioning autistic people and stuff like that on my page.
I'm so curious to say where she's about to go with this. Yo, if she is about to tell me that her corn, bro, helps people go deal with their autism or something like that, bro, I'm about to tweak. I'm about to tweak.
Just way too scared to get out there in public. They're hardly functioning on their own, and this is something that they can finally get their first like sexual experience with a woman. And
she's dating. She's ready. No, she's going for clips. I know the method. She's going for clips. She can't be serious. She doesn't believe that. She's going for clips, bro. She's not being serious. I know the method, bro. She's trolling. There's no way she just believes what she just said.
I talk to them. It's a beneficial relationship. And I guess it just depends on how you perceive that, if it's negative or positive.
Yo, that means, and also the fact that she knows that means she's communicating with these people. So you're literally taking advantage of special needs people, and they're literally getting them to continue to pay you because you're telling them that this is an okay way to substitute getting actual sexual interaction.
Yeah, I perceive it as a positive thing for them.
My work has always surrounded people on the autistic spectrum too. if they're, basically connecting themselves to you neurobiologically with dopamine, then it would be even more difficult for them to create those real world connections.
Literally.
What is the right way to go about that then?
It's about what you feel is right or not, and we don't feel that way.
Well, it's not opinions that I'm talking about. These are scientific facts that
you're saying
are
what is negative? You're saying it's negative.
Yo, I need more
for
TikTok
an
mods,
autistic
bro.
man
I
to
see
have a
people
relationship
spamming,
with
bro.
a
Who
woman.
wants
Like,
mod in the TikTok?
We don't see
I
it
need
that
more.
way.
What I want for people is they can connect with
I would feel
real
less of a
human
man fapping and
beings
watching
and
it.
have a back and forth of intimacy in the real world.
Yeah, I would love that for them.
Yeah, no,
I'd
I
love
totally
that.
agree with
MBS,
that. But I'm just
like,
curious
got
as far as
you.
like with that, at what point does it fall on the responsibility of the sex worker itself? There are plenty of people who don't feel like they can make
Jay
connections in
Liana,
real
I
life and they
got
turn
you.
to that.
Oh, no, I
And I
can't.
agree. Like, I would
You
always
don't follow me.
advise
You have to
anyone
follow
to
me,
go
I
out and
guess.
make real
I
connections.
didn't know that.
But if they are choosing not to, is that the
Zay, I
responsibility
got
of
you.
us?
Well, this is what I know from the people that
I need,
I
like,
work
at least,
with
like,
is
4.
that, they've gone that route for a very long time and
Ray.
it's led them to depression and it's led them to extreme anxiety
Lila.
because they are trying to fill a gaping hole in an artificial way. They eventually
By the way,
feel
Fova, I'm a big
empty
fan.
and they
I used to mod on TikTok and I would want to mod
don't
for you. What
want
would it
to
take?
have
Just be active,
that
bro.
artificial experience
wanna be mod
anymore.
on
They
Twitch.
want it in real life.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think part of the
What's up,
question
Edgy?
was,
Thank
is
you to follow,
the onus
Chris.
on the sex worker? Is there blame to be had on the part of the sex worker?
Oh, no, not at all. But I don't know that. I
Yo,
don't
also,
know
if
that,
y'all haven't already, man,
enjoying
drop a
taking
like on
person
the
away
TikTok,
from
man.
real world connection,
Dabble Tap
like
is coming out.
you're
Appreciate that.
proposing
That
that
pushes
it's a
out to more
good
people.
thing that you're there for those people.
And
Where
if you
I
want a
would
better
contend
viewing
if you weren't
experience, you
doing
can pull up to the
that,
Twitch,
then
twitch.tv/Fova.
they would have
Little
to, like
shameless
Asher
plug.
said, they'd have to get back into their life. And even though it's difficult, they would, they want it. They really want that connection. So they would start doing that instead of watching porn.
Man.
I always encourage my fans to live their lives and go out there. And
Cap.
a lot of men come to me with confidence issues. They're like, I just had someone last week saying, like, give me your top 3 tips on confidence.
Yo, they're active. Ow! I just bit my tongue. They're actively in their. Oh my gosh, that hurt. Yo, they're actively in their arguments saying how all of these people that are messaging them are going through these problems of lack of confidence, isolation. They said the people with autism that haven't had sexual experiences. Like, you're literally actively proving the problem in your explanation of trying to defend it.
And I whatever came
All
to
you're
me,
doing
I
is
typed it out,
enabling
and I
them.
was like, you do with that as you wish. And I know it's not my
The comments off
responsibility
on
to like
TikTok?
be their
What you mean?
therapist because I'm not.
They were to
Yeah,
follow
it's-
Makan.
Well, that's where the
Makan-
dopamine dependency comes in because they are linked to you. Like,
Comments are off on TikTok. Did one of the mods like, yo, let me find out I modded a dumbass. What do you? Okay, no. Oh, you turned it back on. Okay, thank you. W. Lila.
if when partners have sex with each other, neurobiologically, they become linked through dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. So that's happening in an artificial way. So then they come to you for advice where if they weren't consuming porn, they would go to their friends or their parents
Yo,
or
Josh,
their
you're
siblings or
overanalyzing.
someone, at Starbucks that they connected with.
When the
Remember to
addiction is
follow,
like so
two-
detrimental to your life
two
that it's
Sigma.
no longer serving you or giving you what you want, then to me, then that's a problem. So like, for example, if you want a partner, right, and you keep going to the porn, and as soon as you rub it out and get that post-nut clarity, you're like, man, girls. You know what I mean, right? Like if
Exactly.
you get to that point, that's a problem. You know what I mean, right? Because that's not what you want. But at the
It's
same
literally
time,
the same
if it's
thing
just
as like
you know what?
smoking to
I
get
just
through
wanna
your
feel good for a
problems or
little
something
bit.
like
and
that.
afterwards, you're like, man, they still human beings. Like
I didn't
I'm
play
having a
Silent Hill
great
for
day.
that
I don't see
long.
problems.
Josh.
Yeah, but
maybe
that's
like an hour.
That's instant gratification. I actually liken pornography addiction to an eating disorder more than gambling. And it's like, if you have an eating disorder to chocolate cake with blue dye and red dye on the frosting, with all those jimmies
I
in
don't
there that
vape.
are scientifically proven to be terrible for you because of the chemicals. Like the baker's not at fault. The baker loves baking, so I understand that.
I
but
don't smoke
the
either.
consumer has to go, do I want to eat this cake with the dyes?
And I want to respond to that too because I have a nasty little sweet tooth addiction, right? Like I used to love cake,
It's dopamine.
Danishes, all that stuff. But I realized I felt like shit when I was eating all that. So what I do to satisfy my shit, I started just eating fruit. And the fruit was good. So instead of me just getting the nuts from like porn or whatnot, which, if that's what you want, I just want a real woman.
Let's move on to the next topic, shall we?
Let's do it.
Post-nut clarity I'm going to be borrowing.
Oh, I know. And
As soon as you rub it out, oh shit, what am I doing?
I've suffered from porn addiction.
Yes or no, chat. And this is a safe space. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie. I'll go out and say it first. I already said it. Yes, I was addicted, bro, especially during quarantine. I say quarantine is when I was really addicted. Yo, quarantine, I'm talking every day. Every day, peak, like at least 3 times, no, at least 2 times a day, every day in quarantine, bro. And I was depressed, and I didn't go outside, but it was bad, bro. Thank you for the follow, Puna. It was bad, bro.
The agreeers, please.
And that was when I was at my worst, lowest, bro. And I would feel like crap. And the thing is, like, it's supposed to help, but I would feel like crap every time I did it, bro. Right after. Yo, Era, why do you keep saying that?
My porn addiction started when I was around like my teen
But I'm
years,
4 months free now,
teen
y'all.
years, 13
4
years
months
old.
free.
It started from just playing Geometry Dash or
Stop
just a little
looting.
game on my
2025.
iPad. There was an ad that popped up, and it was an ad to like an adult website, and leading into my my young or older teens and 20s, that's where I started suffering.
When's the
from
last time I was
addiction.
mad tempted?
Just doing it every day.
Not
just
for a while, I'm not
stuck
gonna
in
lie.
this loop of not
Maybe like a
understanding
month or
why
two
I'm
ago?
not, completing the things that I need to complete, and not like excelling the way that I saw myself that I needed to excel. And so started having bad relationships with my friends, my family, gone to drugs.
I don't even get the urge anymore.
Into excessive alcohol consumption. And so I recognized a pattern, and I was like, I need to get out of this loop. And so I think that thing for me was to stop watching pornography. And ever since that day, man, it's made a huge change in my life. So
Do you consider yourself in recovery
No,
today,
I'm not
or how
scared
would
of
you
the devil,
describe where
just
you are
I-
now?
definitely. So I'm over a year away from fapping as a whole, and now I'm on the journey of helping other men discover, what the reason is for them watching porn or fapping in the first place, and maybe showing them an alternative way to release their energy.
Nah,
I was
facts.
also
Why would I be
exposed to
scared
it
of the
pretty
devil?
young, probably
When I
probably
got
12,
Jesus
13.
by my side.
And
Facts.
since then, it was pretty much the primary source of sexual education that I had. I assumed that porn was the way that sex happened in real life. And, it thankfully
Can you
never got
give
to
me
the
a
point
sub?
where I
I'm broke,
was,
bro. Well, the fan girl got you, though.
abusive or anything to anybody else, but certainly changed my life for the worse. And, ever since I decided to stop doing it, pretty much everything's just been uphill.
So how would you describe
What's
where
the
you are
video
today?
called? Does corn have a negative effect on society? No fat versus corn stars.
Well, I did have somewhat of a reversion back to my religion, to Catholicism. So right now I'd say I'm, again, probably on the road to recovery. It's been quite a while since I've had to, fall back into it, but
Good for him, bro.
feeling and looking good right now. So.
Cool. Well, let's bring in the disagreeers, and maybe we can have a larger discussion. You can step on forward.
Dang, none of the corn stars said
I actually
yes.
used to be a
Interesting.
background porn actor. So like
Background porn actor.
Yeah.
What is a background corn actor? Wait, what is like he didn't actually do any of the sex, or he was just like a cuck, like
Yeah.
What's the difference
like the
between
brother or
regular
the
and
cuck?
background?
Or the
regular
dad.
folks is
Okay.
but like, but I wasn't. I was just the actor in the scenes. The first
Yo,
scene
how
I
do you
did
even
was
get
with,
that job?
Kendall
Like,
Woods and Jake
how do you
Adams.
even get that
So it was
job?
like be more like your stepsister scene, and I was just one of the friends of the stepbrother who ended up his sister, and like in the scene.
Yo, I'm not
But
asking
I've
to
done like
get it.
18 different porn scenes, and then afterwards, after that, like I could just never watch like professional porn again. I watch the scenes I'm in. But you know what I mean? Like I watched that, like damn, I did some good acting today. You know what I mean? But so I don't have a problem with porn per se, but I do
That's interesting.
think it depends on your goal.
So,
Why do you
funny
want his
story,
name?
when I was growing up, well, obviously you stumble upon porn. I started watching it, and I had this like deep shame about it. And like
Yo, what was
high
the
school,
age?
college,
Yo,
I had seriously.
Yo, I'm gonna ask this because, bro, this is a real question, bro. Because like this is how a lot of people fall into this addiction, bro. What was the age that you first? No, you definitely can just stumble on corn. What was the first age y'all got exposed to it? For me, it was literally 9 years old, bro. I was on the internet from a very young age, bro. And I started gooning at 9 too, I think, actually.
Relationships for like years.
Like, I guess, I swear to God,
And
what do I have to lie about?
I never like caught any of them watching porn, but just the thought of them watching it got me so like jealous and insecure.
That's all.
I've really worked through my own issues of feeling insecure about it, and gotten into the business myself. So like any argument really, I just feel like there's like so much middle ground because we're on middle ground. So that's my
There it is.
little backstory.
There it is. I'd love to hear from you guys, but feel free to, it's a conversation.
I do feel like it's kind of unfortunate that like porn addiction doesn't really get taken that seriously for some reason. And I think you can't necessarily compare it to drug addiction, but I think you have to look at it sort of like a gambling addiction and things like that, which I had gambling addiction in the past too, and it's a lot of that mental, you know what I mean? And I've seen how it can, really mess people like that compulsion with it, and it messes up their personal sex lives and stuff. So I do sympathize with that, and yeah, I do think it needs to be a discussion more about the serious of the addiction aspect of it.
What I found in the neuroscience research is that young people, kids, find porn, and then the seeds of addiction are planted then.
There you
so
go.
Nobody identifies with the
go.
idea of addiction, and you even mentioned compulsion. So, use kind of transitions to abuse and then compulsion, and then addiction shows up later on, and usually, when it's pretty late for a person by the time
You
they
didn't say that? That's literally what I
this is
said.
a full-blown addiction.
That's literally what I said.
I feel like more people probably have a problem with it than they even realize or like admit to it. Because even like a lot of like on the fan platform and stuff, like the people that we talk to, like the fans and stuff, some of them are like, brother, you probably gotta relax a little bit. But like, and it's.
I'm not addicted though. You just told me earlier that you have to do it at least once a month. That's an addiction. It doesn't matter how frequently you do it. If you feel the need at all that you have to do it after a certain amount of time, then that's an addiction.
Nothing against, I love my job. I love this industry in so many ways, but I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that like some people probably shouldn't be consuming this because it's just not, it doesn't work for their brain.
And you're totally right. It's a dopamine dependency
Once a month, that's literally by definition
to
an
sexuality.
addiction.
So the context of gambling is very much the same in terms of the neurobiological
How long is
mechanism.
this video?
So you're spot on with that.
It's like
that it's the
12
dopamine
minutes
they're
left.
addicted to from sex. Someone would have enjoyed sexuality.
So I'm addicted to college, like you're
which
like,
has
what
its
does
own
that
definitions
take?
with a partner
Like,
instead of
clearly we're talking about things that can possibly be
things
harmful
that are
to
very
you, bro.
high dopamine producing.
So may say something.
Nobody's
At
gonna
first
say you're
I said it
addicted to
depends on your
showering.
goal, right? So like for example, I don't want to watch porn because when I used to rub it out, I used to feel like, damn, like I'd rather be a person right now. You know what I mean?
Unless you were trolling, you're probably
my
trolling.
confidence, my ego, and all that. But by going no fap for literally a whole year, I still got needs. So I was forced to go out there and go meet people, and I was meeting women. You know what I mean? So
I'm trying to get closer to God, but it's so hard.
So it really depends on your goal.
Just keep praying,
All right,
bro.
let's move on to the
Literally
next
just keep
topic,
praying.
guys. NoFap
And
leads to
everything
more
that you do?
loyalty in relationships.
Think about Jesus, bro. What would
Agreeers,
Jesus
please
do?
step forward.
How would he feel
I'm hearing
about
a lot
me
of
doing
chuckles. This is fun.
I feel like the loyalty, mainly it remained in like my relationships with other people, not just my friends, but just like my partners that I had previously. I definitely felt like it's like kind of like cheating, right?
NoFap leads to more loyalty. Oh, I didn't even read the question. NoFap leads to more loyalty in relationships. I never thought about that. Does not gooning lead to more loyalty? I mean, probably. I don't know.
You get with the
probably
person, or at least I did, to gain a connection, pleasure and knowledge, wisdom, whatnot, right? But I feel like once you find it elsewhere or know that you can get it from yourself, why would you even need the other person? And so I guess that would disrupt the
true.
loyalty
Actually, very true,
in the
Zora.
sense of
very true, actually.
You don't really need anyone else. You don't need that connection. So why do you have to be loyal to someone else?
They said NoFap,
I am
though.
of the opinion,
It didn't say
I'm assuming
corn.
he would be too, is that any amount of
NoFap
pornography
is not
by
gooning at all.
definition a breach in loyalty of a committed romantic relationship between two people, because essentially what you're doing is you are replacing the person that you are with for good reasons and replacing them with essentially just a distorted image
talk a lot?
of
I'm a
sexual
streamer, bro.
object in order to
If you want to
satisfy
just go
yourself
watch the
instead
video,
of
you can go watch the
fully loving
video.
them.
Got it.
There's a reason I believe that love is associated with loyalty, or loyalty is associated with love, not lust. And I feel like a lot of the porn industry is lust-based more than love. So, like I said, therefore, it would be more loyalty and love together.
Got it.
So
Let's bring the
I'm curious
disagreeers in, because I feel some rumbling of disagreement, and I would really like to. And
I could hear it. I could hear it.
Yeah, and I encourage you guys to feel free to interrogate each other's positions, because we're here to learn. We're here to expand our own thoughts. So
I'm both, to be honest.
Oh, fascinating. Tell us more.
Can I be?
Wow. Yeah.
I think it could help a
Did my setup
relationship for
change?
sure. Maybe, it would help to focus on that one person. But I also think that it can also help
I did
a
bump my
relationship
camera
in the
earlier,
opposite
though.
way of things, where it could, maybe I'm busy and I can't provide that to my partner, and I don't want them to look
donate to
elsewhere.
Mafia Fawn, you a
So feel
bitch.
free to use online.
so random.
If you want to have that little sexual experience for that time, that's fine with me personally. So I think it's, I think it's a give and a take. It can be either one depending on your relationship.
I think in a lot of ways it varies relationship to relationship. A lot of partners aren't going to care if their partner watches porn sometimes, and it doesn't make them a worse partner. Or it doesn't mean that they won't.
You just wake up or something. No, what made you say that?
Other ways, or like really fully commit to them. But I also think that there is a big aspect to it, of like if you're constantly seeking that pleasure elsewhere instead of your partner, then
you look mad good.
There's a problem with that. But I think it's just way too complicated of an issue to like boil it down
I
to
look
just
like I
oh,
just
this
woke
makes you a more loyal partner.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. Just find somebody that match your kink. That's all I think.
Yeah,
that's
somebody that match your
Going
kink.
along
That's it to it.
I agree with you in that there's a measure called emotional intelligence. So emotionally intelligent or emotionally mature people want loyalty in a partner.
Kai's
and
doing the streamer
love
you
comes
thing?
in 3 phases, going back to what you were saying.
What is the streamer you thing? Like, what is he actually doing? Is this LeBron shaving Kai's head? I don't know. I mean, if he's actually doing something I could participate in, let me know.
Saying there's lust, romantic love, and bonded love. And I've been married for 23 years. So 23 years later in marriage, you have bonded love because, the crap's hit the fan lots of times. You don't stay together just for a great sex life, you stay together because you've weathered the storm together. So like emotionally intelligent people want that loyalty in a partner. It's kind of like, 2 alcoholics. 2 alcoholics can have a blast drinking, but that doesn't make them
smart,
2
bro.
healthy people.
She's very good at explaining things. She'd be like a great teacher or a therapist. No, yeah, exactly.
Some rumblings.
So me being with a partner and like us
why does she get
watching
you
porn
mad?
Together, like that.
Maybe because you're a gooner, bro, and maybe the thing she's saying is making you realize that you should stop gooning.
Just we want to spice it up a little. We just want to watch other.
Yeah, because
people have sex.
it's still objectification. Like if you're watching other people have sex, you are no longer having a sexual experience in and of itself. Like it takes you out of the present and it puts you into fantasy. Fantasy is hypersexualized, which means in your experience with your partner, you're looking for level 15 dopamine instead of the happiness trifecta. And so a lot of people are doing that. And trying to get,
oh my gosh, facts.
Maximum pleasure out of a sexual experience with their partner. But that means you don't get to enjoy that rounded out experience.
Yo, I gotta get like her. Like she's so good at explaining things.
I don't think it makes it less intimate. If a couple is watching porn together, I don't think that makes their regular sex life less intimate. If they just want to spice things up one night, have fun. It's the same like sometimes couples who have never done bondage before, they might do it one night and then like that's like I'm sure that's a lot of dopamine, like a huge rush on that particular night because it's trying something new. But it doesn't mean that now they can't have regular sex experiences with their partner. I don't see why.
It's like like having a French meal. Like you're having this really rounded, beautiful meal, but then you've got a huge piece of chocolate cake over here.
If a couple is watching porn together, or chooses to watch porn together, sometimes that's always unhealthy.
I think so, based on
watching
the
porn
scientific
with
studies.
a partner
it means
is so
you're
crazy.
going for
Group
this
goons,
rush
like I
from
couldn't even imagine that situation.
Think about
That's
a
insane.
natural
I'm not gonna lie.
experience
Each
doesn't
their own, I
include
guess.
a screen with other people. That makes it an unnatural experience. So generally
follow
speaking,
Kempsey.
things that are healthy for us are the natural things that exist in our present real world life. Then, when you use porn, you're trying to ramp that experience up on steroids. And, a lot of the people I work with, when they stop doing that, they have such fulfillment with their partner.
We still on this video. I hate people who ask dumb questions.
So say I got married.
You see I'm still on the video. What do you mean we still on this
anyone else
video?
is attractive other than my partner? Is that cheating?
No. I mean, obviously, if you see someone attractive, you think they're attractive. But that's different than lusting. Like lusting, I work with a lot of people who are attempting to find other people attractive instead of lusting after every person who walks by them on the street. And again, it goes back to dopamine. So maybe you don't have it, because again, I don't know what your brain is doing. If you see a person, they're attractive, it just registers on the nervous system like this, like a tap. But for people with lusting, that person walks by and they're thinking, the dopamine's flowing in their brain, they cannot stop thinking about that person.
The CIA got you, but not me, bro.
It's lust, hypersexuality.
I personally think my partner should be allowed to if they're feeling like they need to masturbate, go do it. If you need to watch porn and do that, I'm not like I said when I was younger, like a teenager, I was really insecure, and I couldn't handle the fact that any of my partners thought that someone else was attractive
up,
because
Maddie?
I had like really deep-seated issues, and I worked through those.
I am curious too, as far as like maybe the other side of that, as well as maybe sheltering yourself off too much in a relationship. Could that not cause, I guess, this over curiosity that causes you to end up just sort of breaking and being unloyal?
Yeah, like hyposexuality, do you mean?
Yeah, like I think like I feel like there's also an argument to be made that kind of like sheltering yourself out from like not masturbating and only like looking at this or not looking at this partner, but like not masturbating at all, not having any other release other than with a partner, that can sort of like your curiosity as far as like, okay, what is life without this partner be like, and then it could drive you to cheat maybe.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you use the word release, as does
use the
Asher
bathroom real
here, a
quick.
lot, by the way. So the idea of, a release is a hypersexual thought in and of itself. Like you have to, again, one of my mentors said nobody ever died from not masturbating.
No, of course, but I'm saying, but it still happens. It's how people think. It's how it happens. So if you're completely shutting yourself off from personal self-pleasure, could that not happen as far as just like...
Definitely, and when it comes to NoFap, and I told Ryan this when we started, I don't know if I really like anchor into the idea of NoFap, because I really anchor into the idea of healthy sexuality. And when you think of like, they call it monk mode, where people just go no sexuality. So I joke with people all the time, I'm gonna tell you the scariest thing in the whole world. Communicate with your partner. What you like and what you find exciting, and then do all of those things. And some women are hyposexual, some men are hyposexual. It's about figuring it out, and so I think closing yourself off definitely isn't the way to do it either.
I love sex. Agreeers, please step forward.
Okay, so this is the one question. I'm back. This is the
yes,
one
I love
question I
sex
can't
in
give
the
an
sense
input
that it
on.
is-
Any answerers in the chat? I have not experienced this, so I can't love it or not. So
Could that not happen as far as just like...
I'm
Definitely,
happy to
and when it
abstain for
comes
this
to
conversation.
NoFap, and I told Ryan this when we started, I don't know if I really like anchor into the idea of NoFap, because I really anchor into the idea of healthy sexuality.
Same boat.
And when you think
shit.
of like, they call it monk mode, where people just go
Monk
no
mode.
sexuality. So I joke with people all the time, I'm
Monk
going to tell you the
mode,
scariest
girl,
thing in the
let's
whole
go.
world. Communicate with your partner. What you like and what you find
What's up,
exciting,
Gio?
and then do all of those things. And
Yes, I wash
some
my
women
hands,
are
like what?
hyposexual, some men are hyposexual. It's about figuring it out, and so
It's
I
good when
think
you're in love.
closing yourself
I
off
like the way
definitely
you put
isn't
that, bro.
the
That's probably
way
true,
to do
bro.
it either.
I love sex. Agreeers, please step forward.
This is one I can get behind.
Saying, I would say yes, of course. I love sex in the
Yeah,
in the
no,
sense
there's
that it
nothing
is
wrong
the,
with sex. Sex is sacred,
natural,
bro. You're supposed to.
procreative
You're supposed to.
action that brings together
With your
two
married
people
partner.
in a love so intense that it actually forms another human being if everything goes to plan.
That's why I stepped forward.
Yeah, I
as
was
well.
about to say, what brought you in?
Yeah, just like, that's the true intimacy, that's the true love. Like, that's what I believe sex was designed for, was to, have partners show love to each other and bring another human being into this world.
Other thoughts? You love sex.
I love sex. Sex is
That's
awesome.
it.
This sex is awesome, man.
Yep.
Sex rocks. Now, I obviously I'm in this industry, but I've had a girlfriend for 4 years as well. She's also in the industry, so I've had plenty of meaningless sex, and I've had plenty of sex, and I will choose sex with my
I
partner.
don't know about you,
over
Fova. You might be
anything,
repulsed by
always.
that. No
Like
facts.
just like love, there's so many different kinds of love.
I've thought about that
There's
before,
a
bro.
lot
What
of
if I
different
have
kinds
it
of
one
sex
day
you
and I
have,
just don't
and
like
I
it?
think they're all
Like I was
fun.
so hyped
And
for
even,
it
like,
all these years,
back
and I
in the
just don't
day,
like it.
Like there were like
I could see that
I'm
happening.
going into like the spirituality stuff, but there'd be groups of women that would have sex with each other, like sisterhoods.
That does not mean you're
and like
gay.
that
Like-
wasn't for procreation. So
And being part of that.
gotta start reading some books.
Sorry, I love everything about sex. Porn, filming porn, everything. How the way I feel when I'm having
What's
sex.
that,
How the way I'm
Drewski?
being touched with having
No,
sex.
that's
the
Santana
intimacy,
XXL.
The touch, the feel, everything.
Get it right, bro.
I just love it.
So like your brain will literally attune to your partners, and attachment theory, you become attached to your partner, and we know evolutionarily, like going back to the evolution piece, that this is what made people stick together and then create tribes for safety and procreation, so that it's pleasurable too. And I've had 5 children, so it has to be pleasurable, or you would literally never do it again, and there'd be nobody here on Earth, So it's important.
And it is. You're in sort of the most vulnerable state you can be with another person, and it just everything going through your mind and just the way it's making your body feel.
Literally, like the most vulnerable state
you build
can
so
be.
much trust in a short amount of time, just
That's
off
why,
of
like,
that vulnerability
bro, it's
of
so
being in
sacred.
that environment with that
Can we stop
person.
talking
I
about
love that.
sex?
Do you feel that on set too?
I'm lonely.
I do.
You do?
Actually, yeah, I do.
I don't.
I have.
I
in a lot of
personally don't
different
feel it.
ways. As far as attachment, things like that, I really only feel that with my partner, with my girlfriend. But as far as the trust and things like that, especially on set, and I guess it's a little different because we're performing, so we do have to have that
Yo, if
trust
your
as far
girlfriend
as
loves you, bro,
I will.
she
you
shouldn't care if you
I
have
will
little
respect
meat, bro.
what you want me to do, what you don't want me to
Facts.
do. I won't hurt you. We won't hurt each other. We will make a good scene. We're here to do a job, and
Yeah,
that's
Hop on
it.
that
Where
game.
not
I'm
gonna
about to
be-
after this video.
Strong
done.
working relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Like any,
What game do y'all want to play
so
first?
it is different in that way. I don't
I look
feel
wanna
like
play Silent
genuine
Hill first.
connections as far as like on a deeper level, I guess.
I usually can't even get off for the person on set. It's an
Oh, Discord, I
acting
do have
job
to do
for
the
me,
Discord
when
segment,
it comes to
true.
my pro scenes, when it comes to
If
my
y'all haven't already,
personal
bro,
side,
drop
that's a different,
stuff in the Reacts
you know,
channel.
that's a whole different story.
Funny
but
videos or whatever.
Yeah, it's completely different for me.
Face
Look at
reveals,
that.
fit
Yeah,
pics,
our lone
anything.
disagreeer here. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
I didn't finish Outlast yet, but we're gonna
Don't
play
get me
Outlast
wrong,
today
like,
too.
I enjoy sex, right? But when I hear like I love sex, it's not so much the sex I love, it's more so the connection. So like even when like porn
Okay.
got room for me, it's like when I realized how fake it was.
Sex havers, would you agree or disagree that it's not so much the sex itself or the connection? I mean, I feel like, nigga, I don't know. I literally don't know. What am I talking about?
How professional it is. It's like, damn, I used to think it was real.
I mean, I'd assume
So
maybe.
I was looking for women like that, you know what I mean, right? But it's just like, girls ain't like this for real, for real.
It
I
probably
broke up with
is
my
better
ex
with
2
someone like
years
you
ago,
really love,
a little
I'd
over 2
assume.
years ago. And so when she finally moved out the house, like I
What
just
if
wanted
it's
to feel
3 out of 10
something.
experience
So
for
I
you,
just
but
went
you
on this
fit
little
in?
like whole phase. Cause I remember in December there was this one
don't
girl. Well, we
really
was
get what
having
you're trying to
sex.
say,
Like
Brits.
I remember like just mid-stroke, I was like, damn, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? I just felt bad, and there was no real connection. And then after that, like I stopped my little whole phase and was like looking for the real thing.
Taking into consideration the whole
Yo,
conversation we had
Demaster, I'm
today,
about to ban you, bro.
let's see if we can find a middle ground, something everybody can agree on. Feel free to pitch something.
I think everyone needs therapy.
I personally think maybe
Facts.
like there's a.
Yo, I gotta
you have
get
to
back into
find
therapy, bro.
Whether or not something is abusive or not for yourself, if that makes sense. Like if you're compulsive, finding that issues, I guess, finding out what you're missing
Yeah,
in
this was
yourself
pretty
that's making
pretty
you so
civil.
dependent
Yeah.
on something else is the biggest thing.
It's not as easy as to just make it like this black and white thing. It's just, okay, one side bad, one side good, one side healthy, one side unhealthy.
Hey, bro, that was a good video, bro. Nice civil debate that they had, bro. I'm not like some of the takes was crazy, like when she was talking about the autistic people in her DMs and how it helps them. That was crazy though. But otherwise, bro, pretty civil, bro.